Hi everyone, my name is Menika and I'm and they have a different formulation which I need to try. And so first I put a little bit of loose powder, and then the next step is to dust it out. I use these painter sponges. I would highly recommend them. They're really sanitary because once you've used them, you can just throw them. You get a pack of 100 from Amazon for like less than $10. And so these are really, really helpful. Now I'm going to take a kabuki brush and I'm going to blend everything out. Now with a kabuki brush, I'm just making sure that I have all the excess removed and everything is well blended in. Now at this point, if I want, I can do a little bit of baking under it to give it a little bit more defined look. While I generally don't do it, today I'm just going to do it to show it to you. So just take that powder, the same powder that you use to brighten under the eyes, and then just dust it out here. Some people use a powder puff. For me personally, I don't really need a powder puff when I'm doing makeup. I can finish an entire makeup with just my sponge. Here's a trick I'm going to show you that makeup artists do to get that snatch eye. You can take the wipe, just wrap it around your finger, and then just do this. Now if you want even more snatch, you can use a concealer down here. Do this, and you can see that you've got that line. If you're planning to do a winged eyeliner, you can use this as your guide. Or even if you're not planning to do a winged eyeliner, this gives you that lift on your face. Next, I'm going to prime the lids with same Makeup by Mario concealer number 120. As a South Asian bridal makeup artist, there are certain tricks that we use, and one of which is that we always prime our eyelids with a lighter concealer if we are going for more of the pink and the nude tones, with a deeper concealer if we are trying to go with a little bit of smoky eyes. I'm going to make sure it's really blended out. Next, I'm going to use my 3 trusted palettes. All 3 of them are from Makeup by Mario. So they're from the same shades. I just got both of them in the beginning just to try it out. I could have done with one, but so what? So just like you set the concealer here with loose powder, you want to make sure you set your concealer on your eyes as well. It's the same logic that if you don't set this concealer near your eyelids, it's going to start cracking. So I'm going to use one of the shades here and then just go ahead and set my concealer. If there's only one palette you can buy, and if you're South Asian like myself, it's called the Ethereal Eyes. It's got all the right shades that we need. So you've got, for the base, you have all these beige over here. You have pink tones, which I use a lot for my South Asian brides. You have all this shimmer and shine that you can either mix or just put. And I'll tell you a technique on how to do this so that you get a really deep shimmer and shine. And then you have the browns as well. And you can layer these shades up to get a really, really good eye. I'm going to use the shade pink and then a little bit of the shade brown. I'm going to dust it a little bit, the excess. And then I'm going to start with the corner. Then I'm going to take a clean brush like this one, and then I'm going to start to blend this in. Now you want these shades to blend really well if you're going for that natural look. And if you haven't noticed, I've created this line with my concealer, and so I'm going to use this line as a general guideline to ensure that all my makeup stays a little bit above this, once again to give that snatch look. Here's a pro tip. I'm going to take some of my Fix It spray and I'm going to put a little bit on the shimmer because I want that to really, really good shimmery look. We're going to use this one, the gold, and mix it with a little bit bronze shimmer.